Is agriculture still profitable in Uganda?
So it's profitable.
And if yes, are we still the food basket of the world?
And that is an issue, whether you want to look at it from tribal, but I tell you.
Plus, why is it so difficult for farmers to get export licenses?
Genuinely, there is corruption. People pay for permits.
And with the upcoming general elections, will exports and businesses be as usual?
It's sad that elections should affect work.
Today, my team and I head to Chiruhure district around Rushere areas to speak to Mr. Odrek Rwabwogo, a man that has been at the center of it all when it comes to farming, export, and business. Located about 260 kilometers away from the capital city, Kampala, Rushere is the home to the Tomosi's farm that has been in existence for a couple of decades now. Headed by Mr. Odrek Rwabwogo, the farm focuses on cattle keeping, coffee farming, mango production, agrotourism, and they also run a milk processing production plant.
Now, is agriculture still profitable in Uganda? That is just one among the very many questions that we're going to be answering in this particular topic. But the highlight of it is the person that is actually going to answer these questions, a person that has done literally everything when it comes to farming. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my show. My name is Dennis Duke Wonyala. If you're new here, please do ensure you subscribe, you follow everywhere on our different social media platforms. So with me, I have Mr. Odrek Rwabwogo, a man of all seasons who's done quite a handful of things. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Very good.
You're
Thank
looking
you for-
amazing,
Thank
very
you.
energetic and
Thank
and still strong.
Thank you.
Thank you for actually giving us this time. And first say hello to our viewers and then we get started.
Hello, I'm very happy to receive Mr. Wonyala at Thomas's farm, Bweshare. It's a pleasure. This land, my parents settled here in November of 1963.
Oh, wow.
And this is we are second generation raising a third generation, and I'll be taking you through the ups and downs, how we arrived at focusing on agriculture instead of real estate, for example, in Kampala. These are principles and values that we pick from parents, and we hope to pursue them to modernity.
So the big question before we even ask other questions in regards to export and agriculture, is farming or agriculture still profitable in Uganda?
It
and
is.
I
It
ask
is.
this question as for my brothers and sisters who want to invest in Uganda, but also are Ugandans who've settled abroad for a very long time and are still wondering, is agriculture something I should invest my money in?
Agriculture is profitable. So let's look at agriculture in three levels. I think for the person who is on television or lives in Canada, they want to return, there's primary level agriculture where you produce raw materials. And we shall see today raw material called milk, raw material called coffee, raw material called mangoes, although we've not tended them very well because I now, as I've grown older, I emphasize monocropping. When you do multiple, you don't have a focus. So primary production is where a majority, 70 to 80% of Ugandan farmers are. It's low value, it's low rank, but it's starting point because without primary, you can't move. So at primary level, our emphasis is if each region takes one or two, maximum two crops or products, then it means that people who are there can share knowledge, extension services become easier, disease control becomes easier, buyers who now move us to another level have places to find scale. Now, the second level, once you overcome primary hurdles, as we shall talk about them, is secondary, which is processing. Now, this farm has a processing plant. It owns a processing plant. Small amounts, 50,000 liters a day. This area alone produces more than 1.5 million liters a day. So if you're taking 50,000, it's very small. Huh?
True.
But we wanted to sort of test our hypothesis that the money will come when you add value. Now, secondary level is where money starts to come, but so are challenges: electricity, water, labor, skills. But that's where the money is. The third one is called tertiary. This is where the Ugandan diaspora or university graduates, where they could focus. It's called tertiary because this is now product distribution, product advertising, product like what you're doing. Influencers come at this level because that's consumption, that's retail, that's the level where money comes without a lot of you getting involved in low-level production. At each of those, you can make profit if you do three things. At primary, the focus on high-value product, a product that gives you every day per kilo or per liter. If it gives you 1,000 shillings, which is like 30 cents, if you're able to get 100 liters or 100 kilos of that product, you're good. You're good, you have a very good daily income. But what if 3 or 4 of us make a cooperative and we have a collection center and we have collection for product, crops, or a chilling center, or
for milk or anything,
a place where you can collect fish, because this area has some lakes. This now becomes another business because it has transportation, it has a bit of technology and communication. It also reduces the risk for the processor. He pays you a good price because he has not spent his time, or he or she,
moving around.
So you can make money there. Tertiary is the simplest. The supermarkets, the middle class is still small, but it's expanding. If you drive from here to Kampala, you'll see small outlets that are moving out of the old dukas. It's no longer just a duka where you put a metallic bar and someone puts money. It is now a place where various products, especially produced in the region, are sold.
True.
Each of those you can make money if you focus. The second way to make money is to provide a service at all the three. Here we have issues with how do I get fertilizers? How do I get acaricides that are certified? How do I make sure that when a cow falls sick, I can quickly, within an hour, get laboratory services to tell? Those services are not available. The government does so little. Private sector, there is room. The third one to make money is marketing, because here we don't just do primary production, but we host people. We have 16 rooms. People can spend a night.
True.
And we tell the story of the farm. That marketing, it's a service, but it's a different kind in upcoming areas that have not had attention from international or regional markets. Okay. So it's profitable.
Wow, amazing. Quite an elaborative answer right there. You're starting up a radio show. Let's talk about it before we even ask more questions in regards to export. What is the essence for this radio show?
So we conducted a quick survey and established what was already known, that radio is still the largest medium of communication for a majority of Ugandans, more than 60%. The internet and other channels have not grown as fast as we expected because they require smartphones and other things. Any farm you visit here, you'll find either cattle or coffee or bananas. You find that someone has a radio set on their ear as they work. And so, because we wanted to bring the market understanding to the lowest level, we thought we should have a radio show and try as much as we can to reach farmers and tell them what the market is saying outside, tell them what kind of environmental changes like climate change that we face products that go into modern markets with questions of traceability. But when I'm at a farm, I really don't care often what I'm doing with the soil, what I'm doing with storage.
True.
So to bring that understanding to a farm level is why we went into a radio show. Second reason we went into a radio show is those places where we go to ask us questions. Who grows these products? How come Uganda has many more product orders and less capacity to produce? How do we know your problems? Now, we are streaming online that same radio content for, let's take the market of the US, where a lot of people talk less, but they communicate a lot on computers and phones.
Online.
So we took some consignments in parts of Detroit, soon in Atlanta. We want to channel those buyers to online so they can see visual, audio, how Uganda does its work. Because Uganda does a lot of, we have less fertilizers, less chemicals. Even if you hear...
There's a lot of organic.
Yeah, a lot of good food. So that connection is what we wanted. The third one is leaders. There's a lot of politics across the country and less talk about production. The leaders who talk about production don't have a fallback position to say, what do I do with climate change and fish? I am not a fish. I grew fish in a pond here, catfish. I lost it. But I know that there are easier jobs with fish. Much easier than raising a cow for 24 months.
Very true.
How do I get those leaders with the right information so that as they do their politics, they can channel questions from the audience or their own understanding to a source of information? That's really largely why we did this.
One of the questions I've always wanted to ask somebody in your caliber is Uganda still considered a food basket of Africa or the world, if that's the case?
So Uganda has about 46 million people. Let's even call it 50, because we add 1 million and 300 every year. But our capacity as a country is to feed is 200 million people. We can effectively feed 200 million, but there are improvements you must make. So the 2 rainy seasons we have are now not enough given increase in population. You need to grow throughout the year. So you are 200 million people to feed them, there are improvements you must make. You could feed up to 80, 100 very easily without much changes, but climate, population pressure, urbanization does not give us the luxury of waiting. We have to start where we are. And so if you compare the sizes of lands in our neighborhood, I want to mention some countries where lands are so dry and people are herded into smaller places, but they use land effectively to produce for export. Here, we subdivide land when our parents leave, and now more and more subdivisions make land tenure difficult. And now, secondly, we are doing a lot of multiple cropping.
Instead of focusing on
if you have 4 acres, you should just do food, market, and housing. But a lot of here where I am, the average is 100 acres. But 100 acres was 200 acres a generation ago. So learning to set up organizations or some form of how you approach production and sales will allow us to remain a food basket. So the 2 rainy seasons are good, but they are not enough. We need irrigation. Even here, you will see what we're trying to do with coffee. Secondly, to grow food without fertilizers has a limit. You got to get the right fertilizer advice. Do you use NPK when you are planting coffee? You know, you find
so
someone
uses DAB. They say dab, something
And
like
our
that.
people often use NPK all through.
Also,
Now,
yet
so
the plant has different nutritional needs
this
at
radio
various
program
level.
will be answering things like that,
Okay.
because there's limited extension services. Even if extension service were available, people are busy. People are taking children to school. People are building homes. To give them a source of credible agricultural information for improvement is very good if we have to remain a food basket. I truly believe we will remain for some foreseeable future, but it is dangerous to take that for granted. Those of us who have knowledge, who have sizable lands, we should plant trees to stop intense dryness. You can see where I am. I've been planting trees all my life. We should protect the wetlands. We should emphasize that no bare hills remain that way so that we can have rainy seasons that are predictable. That way you can feed your 200 million people.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who've just joined us, I am here with Mr. Odrek Rwabwogo, an amazing, intelligent gentleman right here. We're talking more about farming and agriculture as a whole in our country, Uganda, and because agriculture affects quite hundreds, in fact millions of people across the globe, it is quite an extensive topic we cannot finish today. One of the other key aspects about Mr. Odrek Rwabwogo is that he is the chair of the presidential, if I may read it out here, Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development. This is like a committee that advises the president on exports and industrial development, which is called, in short, PASID. PASID.
Yes,
PASID,
whichever
PASID.
way.
Okay.
Some people call it PES AID, others call PASID.
Yes, PASID. First of all, I want to commend you and your entire team. PASID is doing an amazing job. But we wanted to go in a bit of discussion in regards to some of the key issues that have come out in the recent past. And first of all, we wanted to know, Uganda was recently kicked out of AGOA. That is the African, just to be specific, I don't want to mess these words up, ladies and gentlemen, the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. How far with your involvement to have Uganda reinstated back?
So there are three levels of markets. And I hope our listeners or people watching can have peace and confidence that markets are always volatile. The first markets are regional. 45% of every value-added product we sell is within East Africa and COMESA. COMESA, common market for East and Central African markets. So the regional market, if you want to add the continental one, should be our very strong focus because the food tastes tend to be similar. Storage and transportation problems, we share them. There are groups just across the border. You can think of Kenya, the Bamasabas, and the other side in Bungoma. So regional markets for me are a critical focus to remove non-tariff trade barriers. Our traditional markets that we have had since we became a colony of Britain. Why do you think that there was a lot of excitement on Uganda Airlines landing in UK, but you don't hear much of it in Congo and Nigeria? It is because of the disorientation of our elite. We think that landing in UK is more important because we speak English, we were
Colonized by the British.
But those markets, whatever happened, they are high value, they are available to us. Those markets, they often demand an arm and a leg from us. When we're still trying to understand plastic packaging, they ask for glass packaging. Okay, glass is great, but to develop a glass industry, to make glass jars, to put fruits, you are not yet there. They also have very high barriers to entry because their consumers have a high threshold. Those markets, I like them. We should keep them, we should keep improving and compete. But we have logistical costs that are higher. The third one is the market you talk about of the US.
Yes.
6,000 products, we were doing around 4, 5. So even in the scheme of things, we are not attacking that market very well. Secondly, the consumption, our trade balance is between $100 million to 130. Yet the one with Kenya is 700 million.
There's a huge difference right
There's a
there.
huge difference. So we will improve. We will improve. We're working with our US partners to speak about this recent 10-15% imposed on us on value-added products, but also to reopen AGOA. But if all that doesn't work, we aim at bilateral arrangements to make sure we're on that market.
Okay.
Trade is two-way. It's not as if they're doing us a favor.
Because we're equally giving them
yes,
a product.
They want our milk casein, which is a protein ingredient they use in medication. They would like to supply us with aircraft parts. We want to supply them with roasted coffee.
So it's a shared benefit.
This is not charity, and we are not begging. We are simply saying, if you close, fine, there will be another administration we speak to. But if you remain open, you need to understand that Africa is growing and you need presence. And Africa will grow regardless
Of whether you're
these
there or not.
blockages. Yes. So we are not the old group. We are a little bit enlightened. We studied these societies and where they came from, and we can negotiate. So we'll make some inroads.
Your message has been collaboration, not competition. Do you think, where are you coming from with this narrative, and where do you think it's going to take us?
Collaboration, especially if I start within our region, is that we have common advantages and common disadvantages. So if both of us grow coffee and all of us are trying to approach the UK market, would it not make sense if we had a way to agree on value addition? So I ship to your next point of production, I earn something, you add, you ship directly into the market. But instead of thinking about that, we wake up and put, in fact, Uganda is the least on putting up barriers. But in our neighborhood, people wake up and protect a certain sector, yet the raw materials are coming to Uganda. So what should we do? Should we also block? The competition should be with the economies that are fully grown, that subsidize their farmers. You don't subsidize.
Apparently not.
That have better transport. The competition should be outside Africa. Collaboration should be inside Africa. I'm happy to speak to a dairy plant in Kenya that has high cost production of primary product, milk. And I produce cheaper, and we jointly process and sell to the market outside, even the market of Nigeria. Why should I compete with Kenya or Rwanda on the US market when Colombia beats all of us hands down?
True.
Because of neighborhood advantage, because of their years of campaign, or why should I compete with Vietnam that sells cars to the US and I'm competing with them on coffee? Work together, including on these, like the little brand openings we're making in Southeastern Europe, in America. We have a brand called Uganda Connect. We call them trade hubs. I don't mind calling them East African hubs, as long as we all can work together and do it. But it starts from home. Many of us are really not oriented to trust each other, which is wrong. We want another person to sort us out. This is very, very bad.
Okay. You've extensively talked about mindset change, most especially when it comes to the youth. How has been your efforts? Have they started yielding, or it's still a campaign that you're still doing until you see tangible results?
I think I used to be very concerned, I don't want to use the word worry, concerned that the increasing technology capacity is used for bad things. For example, how many hours do you spend reading versus the hours you spend in a book? Or how much social media you consume instead of good content. But now I am kind of convinced that every generation has thinkers, and young people will go up and then start to understand. They plateau off and they start to see the things that work. Mindset is not changed by words. We also need to take some action. When you say, I farm, believe in farming as a principle. Your children may not go into farming, but they will return to a higher value form of farming, the one that feeds the 200 million.
True.
By the way, you can't feed 200 million without really taking agriculture from poor hands into good commercial hands. Yeah. So I am not very much worried, because I think that the availability of channels to learn are many, but they tend to taper off and people pick up the good ones. So more education. If I could get all my farm team to do more diplomas, to do instead of just remaining low labor, diploma in some form of products which they already know,
At the farm.
this would help.
Yeah.
So keep a country stable, keep teaching, that's what I do, keep more exports, improve the skills. That's why we graduate many people. I was in Tororo a day ago.
At a
2,000
graduation.
people, yes. We graduate people based on talanta, their talent. A combination of that will keep this country growing and will improve agriculture, especially our message on connecting it to the market.
A lot of farmers, a lot of entrepreneurs, and a lot of export enthusiasts have always showed concern when it comes to them getting licenses for exporting their different ventures that they are involved in. And of course, many of them are involved in a lot of things, farming and production. So the challenge is getting a license has been a problem. And many of them complain and say that the people that are responsible for giving out licenses are giving to people of a certain tribe, people of a certain family, people of people that are connected, people that are in the system. How true or false is this, Mr. Odrek?
I think
Because you are in the export sector, this is your sector.
I think licensing is really a function of the public service. And the public service hasn't done very well in terms of keeping timelines. Projects take long to be executed for various reasons. They complain about pay, facilitation, and that is an issue, whether you want to look at it from tribal. But I tell you, if you don't have a good, well-paid, well-trained, private sector-minded public service, you will struggle. Secondly, when a company wants a certificate to export, it applies. And often that application requires several ministries. Because an export license may come from Ministry of Trade, but what you export is agriculture.
It falls under Ministry of Agriculture.
Correct. So, but even under agriculture, there is a crop division.
Yeah, I
whose
get you.
requirements you must fulfill. So sometimes some of us are not very
Conversant with those steps.
and even honest that we fulfill those steps. Sometimes when we hit an obstacle, we say, this obstacle is because I am this. I think there is a bit of that. Thirdly, genuinely, there is corruption. People pay for permits, driving
The
permits.
president has been recently talking about it. Even in his own house,
yes,
there is corruption.
So when you combine these things, it really hurts all of us. So I think when you hear certificates and complaints, the solution often is to use technology. If I can go online and I see the requirements, and the certificate comes offline as long as I can fulfill all the ticks, and this certificate can be blockchained so that it's not adulterated, it would cut a lot of complaints, a lot of time lag, but it also would heal the public service from getting this backlash often unnecessary. Sometimes when we are the ones who want quick things, many of us don't like that. We want to quickly cut corner and then complain. So that it's a multiple of issues, but I think technology
Should
and
be able
paying
to.
civil servants very well and holding them to account can solve these issues.
So, ladies and gentlemen, your question has been answered. And from my personal experience and what I've so far got from Mr. Rwabwogo is, yes, there are challenges, but also we need to be a little bit patient, most especially when it comes to these systems and these steps. They are not just a straightforward. Sometimes they take weeks, sometimes months for some of these things to be approved, because it's not a one ministry kind of work. It's a cross-border ministry. So at least we are getting where we want to do. Now, the last question we have for us today in this particular session is, 2026 is here, and the election season, it is marred with a lot of things. I mean, a lot of activities happening, some of which is good, some of which could be bad. And by bad, I mean it puts some of your recently achieved efforts as perceived at stake. For example, it will, in case it goes bad, it can limit the export of goods. How, as the chair of the Presidential Committee, Advisory Committee on exports, how are you handling this? What should be done as we are headed for the election come next year?
I think first of all, it's sad that elections should affect work. If you start from that point, you see how fragile.
Our systems are in
Yes,
Africa.
because elections happen all over the world. So it starts with us as leaders to try, and I wrote a long piece and I did an audio before the NRM primaries, to do 4 things. First, this language, this tongue we use, can cause trouble. If you lie, or if you talk about other groups of people in a negative way, please expect a reaction.
Yeah, definitely. That's
Now,
human nature.
so if we are leaders, let's tame our tongues and know that our tongues can destroy production, even cause insecurity. The second one is to remove, because elections is about ideas. What ideas do you have to change your community or country? But if we turn elections into who is richer than the other.
It's actually been made a money-making venture. Yeah.
So if you deal with the question of the factor of money, and a lot of that money comes from people who are connected to procurement systems of government. I see them. You see people who are causing a lot of damage somewhere, sponsoring candidates, in very, very bad. So take money, you people who vote, focus on, does the person have the right heart and the right ideas to deliver change
in this community,
or they want to use us? The third one is to keep our security services neutral.
not to indulge in
The courts of law
partisan politics.
must, just like security, you don't go to a court of law because you are rich. You serve justice to the poor as well as the rich. Security services are like that. If people feel insecure because of their own security services, then they create subgroups to defend themselves. I say these things openly because I know I've seen politicians using security services to beat up people, to cause a lot of damage. Keep our security services pure, independent, intact, so that they are credible to serve all of us. The fourth one is institutions of government to act quickly whenever there is danger and to act neutrally, because an election is to choose leaders, and there is a whistleblower, there is always a marksman called Electoral Commission. There is, like how you have a headmaster. Let us have that headmaster act quickly, act impartially, and be on time. When you combine those 4 things, us who are exporting, we'll keep doing what we're doing. You go vote whoever you want.
Thank you so much for having this conversation, Mr. Odrek Rwabwogo, the chair, Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports, PASAID, as it is commonly, termed. Now, we've been having a conversation, random conversation on export and agriculture, but be rest assured that we are going to have a conversation on cattle, coffee, and then dairy farming as well. Don't forget, the show his radio show is coming up very, very soon. It started on the 18th of August, but the subsequent shows are equally coming up. And don't forget, the idea here is I'm going to give you all the information about the radio show, when it's going to be airing. And on those particular days, I'll also be tweeting so that you do not miss an episode whatsoever. Go to Sungura House Bukoto, one of our restaurants, and eat rabbit meat, chicken, beef. Guys, we have amazing food. So please reach us out on those numbers. It was nice having this conversation
Thank
with
you very
Let's
much.
now go to and see the cattle now.
Great. Thank you very much.
Sawa.